Hello, all you wonderful people, and welcome back to episode 5 of the Hostile Lands. Now, we got a lot of stuff done last episode. We got kind of the start of this villager process all up and running, but as you can see, I took that quite a bit further, and I now have several people in here with some of the trades that I am looking for. Got my mendings, my silk touch, some protection, got some looting, and some depth strider. Things are going pretty good, but for right now, we're not too concerned with these villagers. We have a lot to go ahead and get done in this episode, so let's go ahead and go take a peek at what it is we're going to be trying to do. Now I gotta be honest with you guys. Standing in front of this little makeshift tower that I just kind of took over from this village has me very sad. And I talked a little bit in the last episode about wanting to get a house up and running for myself, and then we got majorly distracted. So I think it's time to finally start prepping for that. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and made a little bit of the outline up on the little ridge line you can see right there. But we have a tremendous amount of supplies we need to go and collect right now. So of course, here we are, starting off our little adventure. We gotta take a little bit of a boat ride so that we can go get to some of the goodies that we are gonna be needing in this build, as there is nothing around me but some spruce and a little bit of oak around some of the perimeters, but what I really need is much further away, so it's time to do a little bit of an adventure so we can find some of these resources that we're going to be using. First thing on our list today is going to be collecting some sand, and check. We also need to make sure we take a really unsafe jump very far away from home with our spawn nowhere nearby, so let's go ahead and get that done as well, and check. Quick pit stop in the mesa where we're going to be picking up some good old terracotta that we're going to be using in the build, as well as needing to make a little bit of a detour and check out some of these abandoned mine shafts to find some amazing goodies and things that we are going to be wanting to collect. And check. Did not need anything from a jungle for this project that we're working on, but we were passing by one that I didn't know was here, so we're going to go ahead and grab some things that we will just generally need from this area, and check. Try to sneakily snag one of these beehives when they go inside, only to find out they are far sneakier than I am. Check. Next, we got to return back home now that we have the coordinates stored for some of the areas where we will need a lot of supplies from, and we need to make a little bit of preparations to go into the Nether and create us a faster method of travel so that we can go stock up on everything that we're going to be needing. And that would be another check. Here we are in the Nether, and as you can see from behind me, there is a ladder going up very high into the Nether, and that is where we're going to be setting up our transportation systems. Right now, it is nothing pretty to look at, so do not worry about that too much, but let me bring you up here and go ahead and show you what it is that we've done so far. And it's going to be something that we're going to have to work on over time, as this will become a huge network up here, but right now we just have it carved out a little bit up here at 115 in a nice safe area so that we can spend a bunch of time now mindlessly mining away towards those coordinates that we saved for ourselves earlier for our future hotspots. Portal number 1 is all primed and ready to go, so let's go ahead and hop through here, and as long as my math is correct, this should take us to our destination hotspot. So let's go ahead and see, and it looks like we have arrived. Perfectly where we want to be. We're here at the desert that was right next to the mesa. We have some future plans for this area, which is going to be fantastic, as well as having a very quick method of travel to grab some of the resources we will be using the most in some of our upcoming projects. So let's go ahead and keep on moving. after nearly dying in the Nether, and then immediately upon arriving back in the overworld being poisoned by what appears to be an invisible witch. It has been quite the journey. I'm looking all around. I got poisoned as soon as I came through the portal and did not quite hit record fast enough, but something funky is abound. I've checked this cave and there's nothing down there. I've checked in the dirt behind the portal to make sure there's no open spots back there. Nothing to be found, but now it's time to take everything we just got and craft it all together, get everything ready to be able to start this beautiful home that we have been waiting to finally build. I know I get super distracted a lot, but it has finally begun. And we finally have the first layer of this home done, and it's all filled out down here. Now it is time to start getting everything else ready for the second layer. I've decided to go ahead with some of the designs that I've been planning for a little while, made some impromptu changes based off of what was more readily accessible to me and what I thought looked nice. But so far, this is what we got. It's nothing special yet, but it is going to be something beautiful by the time that we have finally finished. Don't you worry. As it sits all rainy and gloomy, we have finally got the outline together for the second layer. We just need to collect a few more items to get the walls in place. But the frame is ready, and this is what we have right now. It's been a little bit difficult. I've had a few creeper explosions, had to rebuild a few parts of it, but so far I think it's looking nice. I do just need to grab a little more scaffolding to make this a little bit of an easier process to get through, but so far so good. Just doing my best to get this built up and fighting these darn mobs off because they are popping up everywhere and they have been a big hassle, but as long as it's these zombies and things, I certainly don't mind. It is those darn creepers that I cannot stand. They are causing me a lot of headache and a lot of problems, but let's go ahead, clear some of these guys out that I wish were not spawning in, but the rain is letting them because of the light levels. Let's see if we can get that creeper off in the distance. Come on. Boom. All right. So yeah, second layer done. For the most part, just got to fill in the walls and fight off the hordes, and we should be pretty much set to get the rest of this little middle section of the house, I guess, completed. And just like magic, the second layer is complete. Obviously, we will still have some detailing and some different bits and pieces to be done to this over time, but right now we're just trying to get the rough build done so that we have a place to lay our head that is not in a cramped tower and a place to store some chests. So this is what we... Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was not what I was planning for right now. Let me just go ahead and work my way back up there so I can actually show you guys what I've done. I really should put a railing on that, or maybe finish the terraforming that I kind of just exposed to you. Is extremely unfinished under there. But this is what we got so far. I think it's looking really good. I really like it. I got a good mixture of different concretes in there, as well as some gray wool. And it kind of juts out at the top to kind of give it a little bit more depth as it's going up. But so far, so good. I really like the progress we're making, and now it is time to work on the next phase of this build. And I will be right back with you as soon as I have a little bit more progress to show you guys. Alright, and the very next phase of this build is complete. I have the roof that we're going to be putting on this and the design and style of it completely outlined, and it was no easy process for me. As I've explained many times in the past, I am not really the best of builders. I focus more on redstone and automation. So doing this has really been something that I'm actually finding quite a bit of joy out of. It's been a really fun experience. I'm really proud of the way that this is starting to look out, and I'm really excited to see the final product once it's all up and running for you guys. And I think it looks pretty good from a lot of these different angles. I like the slope of the roof, the way that it's all set up, and I have a pretty interesting idea for what I'm going to actually make the roof itself out of. Right now I just have the frame, and I think that it's going to look really cool once I get everything put in there for you guys, and maybe it will be something that you haven't really seen before. I don't know. I don't really know what's out there, but this is definitely something new to me. So let's get going. I am ecstatic. Things are finally coming together and I have the roof completely filled in and it is looking super good. I am so proud of it. I definitely have to thank my wonderful girlfriend for giving me the suggestion because I was messing around with some other blocks and I didn't know what I really wanted to put there. And she suggested to use the spruce leaves as I was looking for a greenish color. And I did that and it looks amazing. I love the dark nature of the green. It's kind of like this dark foresty, dark emerald green. And I just think that it looks really fantastic. And not only does it look really good, it serves a secondary purpose for me in that mobs cannot spawn on leaves. And so instead of having to get some tricky lighting up there or putting carpet up there or finding any number of ways of spawn proofing it or just leaving mobs up there, nothing is going to spawn on my roof since there is a lot of flat spots for them to be able to get up there, especially those ninja creepers that like to just drop down and bomb on you. But that's going to be all taken care of for me because of the fact that I'm using the leaves. So that was a wonderful suggestion, and I think that it looks really, really good. As good as it looked before, it is definitely starting to look a little bit better as we are finally putting some of the finishing touches on the outside of it, and there is still a lot of detailing to do, a few little highlight spots I want to add in, but I do have the upper area filled in now, and I think that that looks really, really nice with the contrast between the darks to the lights and the separation away from the much lighter wooden base. I feel like this just looks really, really good. I'm super proud of this. Not much of a builder, as I've said many times, and this was definitely a challenge for me, but I am finding a lot of joy from working on these different building projects that I'm not used to doing and kind of stretching the limitations of what I've previously set for myself and giving myself a new depth to this game. And from the inside, I think it looks even better. The natural arches that are in here from the roof and the slopes of them and the angles that they look at, I think that these just look unbelievable. And now we just got to add the finishing touches onto this thing and it should be all good to go. We have done it. It has been a huge success, if I do say so myself. I'm a little bit biased because I am super proud of this and the way that it's looking, but we got our highlight feature on all four of these different sides with this sort of extended window up at the top that provides some depth and a little bit of contrast in the colors, as well as a nice little viewing spot when you're going to be up in those areas. Have some of the other windows filled out too using some cyan glass, and I really like the way that that looks. But as you come over here, you'll be able to see that this is actually on all four sides, as I was saying, and I think it just adds immensely to the way that this was looking. And obviously there's still a ton to do. There's basically nothing done on the inside, but it looks really, really good. And now I just got to come up with some ideas of how to fill this on the inside and make it look really good and become a little bit more functional than it is. If you've been watching super closely, you might notice that there's been some little sneak previews of something we've been working on in the background, and you'll definitely want to be checking out my next episode so that you can see what that is all about, because we've definitely done a really fun project over there. But this corner over here seems like a good place to slap down some chests, so although I gotta do more planning to figure out the interior, I will probably start moving chests in here just so that I can get my items all sorted away and be ready to go from there. But this is where we're going to call it for the day. It is quite a bit of a shorter episode than what I've been putting out, but we got a lot done and it has been super, super awesome planning all these things out and being able to interact with you guys. So please do keep on liking the videos if you're enjoying them, subscribing, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next episode.